Hello, and thanks for joining us today on Playing the Field. I am Maria Serrao, and joining me to talk football, baseball, basketball, you name it, is the one and only Nick Hamilton from Nitecast Media. Nick, thanks for being here.
Hey, thanks for having me. This is going to be fun. I can tell.
You know what? He can tell because football is in full swing as far as I'm concerned. Maybe no games for 3 months. It doesn't matter. Mini camps are happening. The draft is over. We have lots to talk about with a few different teams, and we'll tell you why coming up. The baseball season is in full swing, and there's some pros and cons to discuss with the Dodgers and the Angels. And, well, the NBA season is over for, well, at least the near future. We're going to talk about Lakers and Clippers, so don't go anywhere. We're going to take a very quick break and be right back. People with disabilities are just people with different abilities.
Having a disability or injury is an opportunity to learn how to make an adjustment and get back on the field.
We all need each other. Be a positive influence and surround yourself with people who support you.
It's time you got in the game because it's game on.
Easter Seals leads the way in disability services. We want to change the way you see disability. We are back. You know, Nick and I cover a lot of sports here in Southern California, to say the least. You have also been covering the W for a long time, the WNBA. Tell us what's going on with that this season.
I mean, basically, they got a new media rights deal. Obviously, the CBA went through the players who have been battling that for the entire offseason, finally got most of what they demanded in tow. So we're just getting underway with the WNBA season. There was a lot of movement. Obviously, there was some trades that were going on. Obviously, Angel Reese going from Chicago to the Atlanta Dream.
Right.
Nneka Ogwumike returned from the Seattle Storm back to her original drafting place, which was the LA Sparks.
How do the Sparks look? I mean, are they
on paper? They could compete.
That's dangerous. On paper is dangerous.
But it's still early, right? You got Cameron Brink coming back fully healthy.
Okay.
So technically, this is really her second season playing through.
Yeah.
Obviously, she's coming off an ACL injury. And
how many games did she play last year? A handful, maybe?
Well, basically, she didn't come back until the second half of last season. And she still had to work her way mentally and physically in shape.
Okay.
So you got to take that in consideration. Obviously, the off season gives her time to prepare, get ready. She's been, cleared medically. So now she's coming off the bench under Lynn Roberts' system. So obviously there was some controversy because she says she made some very harsh but direct criticisms about Cameron Brink.
Yep.
Playing 8 minutes and picking up 3 fouls. So
that's
going to take time,
it
right?
Does,
it's going to take time for her to adjust.
Get back in.
And that position is loaded on that team. So the margin for error is going to be slimmer than a runway model.
Okay, slimmer than a runway model. Now, we have to just touch upon the NBA here. The Lakers were swept in 4 games to OKC. There is a lot of talk about LeBron. Is he coming back? Is he not coming back? He's 42 years old now?
41. He will be 42 at some point this year, later on.
Yeah, I think it's Luka's team now. And I think that it's just time to move on to a new system.
Here's my problem. First of all, all the Lakers are moving on to Tulum. That's where they're going to be vacationing because they got an early vacation. But as far as
not
LeBron,
the Bahamas, come on.
Going to Tulum. But I think when you look at LeBron, right, we know how great and dynamic LeBron James is. Arguably one of the most physically gifted athletes we have seen in our generation.
But it's time.
But I also think LeBron's still playing at a high level. I mean, he was averaging 27 and 7. However, it's up to the Lakers as far as it's not really LeBron's decision, it's the Lakers' decision.
Yes.
Do they want to give him $20 to $25 million for one more year, if not more, or do you want to say, thanks, LeBron, come talk to us when it's time for the jersey retirement ceremony, and let him play one more year? No, listen, I'm all for LeBron getting a jersey retirement ceremony because his time, yes, because his time in Los Angeles has been successful. I mean, think about it.
It has been successful.
When Kobe left, there was a period, as they say, the Castle of Grayskull.
Right.
To all my He-Man people out there. There was a dark period, and then LeBron comes, and in the first year wasn't a success like everybody envisioned LeBron coming.
Right, it took a minute.
And then they had to go get Anthony Davis, and they had to go keep Kyle Kuzma, but then shuffle some players like shuffling the deck in Vegas. So what they had to do is assemble that team, get a coach, that knew what he was doing in Frank. And then they got it their way into a world championship. And people can argue about the, quote, bubble championship.
I know.
But that's probably one of the most hardest. We do argue about that. But it's one of the most hardest championships that you can win.
You're
because
right.
You are completely isolated beyond your will.
Right.
So, I mean, you got a championship.
It was kind of the same with the Dodgers. Everybody said, it was a bubble year. But you know what?
I mean, think
about it. It's what they all agreed to.
Yeah. And I mean, he's been to he took the team to a Western Conference Finals appearance. He took them to multiple playoff appearances. He's the all-time leading scorer.
He did his job.
So, I mean, he deserves it. Now, a statue? Hell no.
Yeah, no.
Absolutely not.
Now, will he go to the Clippers, do you think? Or will he just say, I'm done?
If you go to the Clippers, I mean, what's the purpose in that, right? Like, I think either he goes to Golden State, which is more apropos to his style of play, and being that.
To retire though in Cleveland.
That Cleveland is a possibility, but he won't be the guy, right? Because you have other pieces already there. He's not the guy now. Well, he was the guy in this playoff series because
there was no Luka.
Exactly, and no Austin Reeves at the time.
Yeah.
So I think when you look at where he could pair, it could be Cleveland, it could be Golden State, it possibly could be Dallas, depending on what Dallas wants to do and build around Cooper Flagg.
How much of a percentage do you think he retires? 0?
1.5%.
Yeah, he's staying there.
I think he gets another year, whether it's with the Lakers, whether it's because LeBron is going to make the announcement, hey, this is going to be my final year, I think.
Yeah, and he'll do the whole tour thing.
Yeah, which, listen, he deserves
Whatever, if he wants to do that, that's his prerogative, Bobby
He's
Brown.
the third greatest player to ever play the game. People can argue that all day long.
We could argue that for the next 45 minutes, but we won't do that.
Jordan, Kobe, LeBron, and then everybody else.
We'll see. Okay, let's jump over. Let's jump over to some people would say the dark side and the Clippers. What do the Clippers have to do to become relevant in this league?
Well, I think they're already pretty relevant. The problem is, what do you do when what is the future going to look like? Right. They have a very promising future in Darius Garland.
Right.
They were able to secure the fifth draft pick from Indiana.
Right.
So they have options as far as where do you want to build.
They have money.
I don't know. Here's the question. What happens with Kawhi Leonard?
Well,
that's the question.
That's the big question right now.
I think it's time to let Kawhi Leonard walk.
Ooh.
I think that experiment was not as successful as you envisioned.
He didn't really fit in here very well, I don't think.
Well, no, I think he did. But the problem is, when you had Paul George, you had Kawhi Leonard, on paper, it probably looked like, hey, if we build around these two guys, maybe we have something. Because at the time, Paul George was a very, very solid player. And you had Kawhi Leonard coming off a championship, two-time champion, masterful defender.
Yeah.
They called him the Claw for a reason.
Yeah.
So when you got him back to LA and his Southern California roots, it was like, okay, this must be a match made in heaven.
We thought that, but it just hasn't really worked out that way for him.
No, and I think, unfortunately, obviously injuries played a part in that.
Does he not know about the Clipper curse?
No, I'm just saying. I think here's the thing, right? Like, and that's not bad. But I think also too, I think you had to build for the future as well as the present, right? Like another LA team is starting to do.
Yeah.
So I think when you look at the Clippers and you look at what they have to offer, it's going to take some time. Obviously, you had to get rid of James Harden. You moved James Harden to Cleveland. But you gave up a multitude of draft picks, including a bag of Doritos and a Coca-Cola, and Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, who is now possibly going to be a two-time MVP in the NBA with the OKC Thunder.
That was kind of strange, but
the fact that the way they did it was kind of shady. And then also look at how many draft picks that OKC has been able to utilize, and that's why they are the team, and we're seeing them embark upon a dynasty.
Do they win the championship this year?
I think if they stay healthy, my question is, does J-Dub come back? And I think if you're going to play the San Antonio Spurs with Wemby,
right,
I think you're going to need him because that's going 7.
100%.
That's absolutely going 7. And I said this on another show. Whoever wins the Western Conference Finals. Not as good as this show,
but still, it's all good.
But whoever wins the Western Conference Finals is more than likely going to be NBA champion if they stay healthy.
Well, we're going to definitely
because I don't trust the Knicks.
Yeah, well, the Knicks is that's a whole other thing right there. Okay, moving on. The draft is now done, and it has been a very interesting experience. Now, to peel back the layers, Nick was here with the Rams. I was in Pittsburgh at the draft, and we both had kind of an interesting behind the scenes of the moment at number 13 when the Rams took a quarterback. Nobody thought that was going to happen. And that relieves a lot of questions open. Now, the Rams did have a few other picks, and I kind of wanted to go through them with you because, we know about Ty. They got Max Clare from Ohio State, who is another tight end. We know how much McVay loves his tight ends. And we also had Keegan Truss from Missouri, who's an offensive tackle. They got a few more pieces, but give me your take on that draft from your experience being there.
Do you want me to start with Ty Simpson?
Yeah, I want to start with Ty because that was kind of like, he's from Alabama, Les Snead, Alabama guy, and there was just so many moving parts when that happened.
Well, we had to bring Les Snead and Sean McVay to the front of the congregation. And as we are taking it back to my church days, they tell you to walk by faith. But with Ty Simpson, I'm going to have to walk by sight. And that's not an indictment on what he could potentially become.
Right, because we don't know.
Because he's had probably 15 starts technically.
In college.
Which is not necessarily a great start to your NFL career because your average quarterback will average between 20 and 21 starts or more in college to get that experience to be able to command an offense on an NFL type of caliber team. So when you look at Ty Simpson, I think he's saying all the right things. If you go to, I just wrote an article on Nitecastmedia.com where I talked about, Ty Simpson, and I spoke with Ty, just asking him, who are some of the people that you are leaning on or maybe influenced by? And he mentioned two people, ironically, the late, great Kobe Bryant. We talked about the Mamba mentality, but he also talked about Matthew Stafford and called Matthew Stafford an assassin, which is something I had not heard from anybody in quite some time. And that's not a knock on Matthew Stafford.
No, that was actually an interesting observation by him because when I talked to him at the draft, I asked him, how excited are you to be learning behind Matthew Stafford? And he is excited. But my question now is, let's just say Matthew Stafford in week 6 goes down or has an injury. Is Ty Simpson ready to be the backup here?
Absolutely not. And again, that takes time. And I think Ty Simpson is almost, you have to treat Ty Simpson as if the Green Bay Packers treated Aaron Rodgers when he first got there. Aaron Rodgers sat on the bench for 4 years.
But who is going to back up Matthew?
Here's the problem. If you don't have a serviceable quarterback, like I thought Anthony Richardson would probably be a better fit because he's had NFL experience as a starter. Unfortunately, went down, didn't get his starting spot back. He struggled even in those starts, but he got that experience. And I think under a coach like Sean McVay, who can work on his mechanics, fix his mental, and be able to be, okay, hey, if Matthew, God forbid, if Matthew does go down, you have Anthony Richardson, who has some experience and way more experience than Ty Simpson currently has.
But here's the thing about Sean McVay, and we both know this, is he was very comfortable the last 2 seasons with Jimmy Garoppolo, right behind Matthew because he has NFL experience. He is a competent quarterback. Now he's gone. Okay, or so it seems as of this moment in May when we're shooting this, he is not there. So who is that safety net for Matthew Stafford?
That's the big question, and you know how I feel about Jimmy G.
I know you do,
but I won't display that here.
No, but the bottom line is he is an experienced backup quarterback in this league. Now you've got Stetson Bennett, who has been in there for preseason games and great guy, but and Kai, that's it? That timing? That's crazy.
Well, here's the thing. The thing I will say is that we don't know what's working behind the scenes.
Well, we don't. They have to bring another veteran in.
I always have praised the Rams upper management because I think they make very smart and probably one of the smartest, team as far as when they make certain decisions when it comes to players or coaches or what have you. And we've seen the success of that since they probably moved to Los Angeles, especially after that first Super Bowl.
But Nick, they were 3 hours away from going to the Super Bowl last year and they could not get it done.
Well, here's the thing too. The thing that shocked me is that we saw Les Snead at Mekhi Lemon's USC Pro Day.
Right.
Well, we know Kenyon Sadiq, who's arguably one of the best tight ends in college football, came out and was available at the time.
And that would have been
that they were
weapons
gonna
for Matthew.
I had that pegged. I said, Mekhi Lemon you got to get a Mekhi Lemon because they are thin as wind at wide receiver.
Right.
I mean, we know how great Puka is.
We got Puka,
we know how
Devontae,
great Devontae is.
But Devontae's getting a little older.
But then what?
Right.
So if God forbid one of those, like we saw, unfortunately, Devontae went down for 3 games last year due to injury.
Right.
So what happens?
That was a dangerous
one of them,
time.
What happens if one of them go down again this year? Who do you have that's going to be sufficient enough where Matthew Stafford can not only throw to but trust? Because that's the key.
Yep.
You got to have a quarterback that trusts the guys that are going to battle with him week in and week out.
I just want to know what it's going to look like at quarterback. That's what I want to know.
What does the future look like at head coach? Because in a couple of years from now,
Sean McVay's
if
not
it doesn't
going anywhere.
You sure about that?
I'm sure about that.
Okay, so let me
remember a couple years back when everybody said Sean McVay is going to leave the Rams.
And he was contemplating. Was he not?
I knew he wasn't going anywhere.
But was he contemplating?
We contemplate everything every day.
But was it serious? Because it was serious. Yeah, it was serious enough to have conversations about it. And the thing about it, and even he came back and said, "Yeah, I was a bit burned."
Sort of.
Paraphrase, I was a bit burned out.
But here's the thing: he was a little burned out. But he is the guy that gets up at 4 a.m. He starts watching film. He goes in by 5:30. Then he's at the facility watching film, talking to players. His wife's going to be like, "What are you going to do? You got to get out of the house."
But McVay is not built for a complete rehaul, and that's
no. But
you have certain
But Les Snead said it's a remodel, not a rehaul. We're gonna revisit the Sean McVay conversation again and again and again. I promise you. But let's move over to the Chargers. We know that they were decimated last year on the offensive line.
Right.
But the big question with the Chargers is this. They did get a few nice pieces. They got Jake Slaughter, the center from Florida. They need help. They got an edge player and Akeem Messidor out of Miami.
Okay.
They've got some pieces, but what does Justin Herbert have to do to move on to the next level on this team?
He's got to win. And he's got to stay healthy.
How is he going to do that?
Well, here's the thing.
What are they going to do?
Okay, let's look at the running back situation, right?
Yes.
So you got Amari Hampton, second year. He's going to be the leading back.
He'll be
which
better.
He should be.
Right, he'll be better.
But people forget, the smartest thing that Harbaugh did was not put a lot on his plate in his rookie year.
Correct.
And because people don't remember, at North Carolina, when his quarterback went down after the first week, he majorly carried that load. That's why he had over 2,000 yards.
Exactly.
That's not what you do for a running back. You were running running back in the ground.
Yeah, not in the NFL.
A la Cadillac Williams. Remember him?
Yeah,
okay.
Exactly.
We saw the short shelf life that he had. So when you look at Amari Hampton, when you look at that, obviously you got Keaton Mitchell, who they acquired. So that's a 2-back system right there.
Yep.
And then the David Njoku, who signed to a 1-year deal at tight end. So that gives him some tight end, some muscle at tight end, along with Ladd McConkey, who I love.
We love Ladd. Love Ladd.
That is one of the, besides, Derwin James, Ladd McConkey is my
Ladd's our guy. We love him. Yeah.
But I think the experience at tight end, and he signed a 1-year deal. Now, the thing about Njoku is, can he stay healthy? Because the last 2 seasons, he missed about 11, 12 games last season.
That's tough.
In the last 2 seasons. So can he stay healthy enough to be available for the ball to be moved in his direction, or be able just to block so the chains can keep moving on the offensive side of the ball? But I think this is the Chargers' year to win their division.
They have to, and
If
that's
you
just going
don't
to
get
be
it
so
done-
difficult.
If you don't get it done, Justin Herbert, I'm looking at this camera right here. Justin Herbert, if you do not get it done, because this AFC West is being handed to you. I don't trust the Denver Broncos because they're missing.
I disagree with that, but
Oh, listen.
where's my Raiders helmet over there?
You don't have Bo Nix in Denver. Quarterback problem.
Is he out the whole year?
More than likely. But he
that's
could,
bad.
even if he comes back half the season, they still may
half
be
the
so far
season.
behind.
Yeah,
There's
it's
no
tough.
Patrick Mahomes coming in from Kansas City.
Yeah, he's done.
Fernando Mendoza is more than likely going to be riding the bench because he's got to learn the system. So you got Kirk Cousins, which could be up and down like the stock exchange.
Yeah.
So the most consistent and the most experienced is Justin Herbert.
Right,
And
it
Jim
is.
Harbaugh. And if you don't do this, you are going to be labeled as regular average. Mark my words.
He is
this is it.
Here's the thing.
There's no threshold.
For me, he goes into that category of this. You've been how many years at the Chargers now? 6? Mm-hmm. Okay. It's time for you to change teams. Maybe Dak, you go to the Chargers. Justin Herbert, you go to the Cowboys, or you're going to turn into Phillip Rivers. You're going to stay in with the team your whole career, and you're going to get nowhere. It's time for him to switch it up.
Well, why do you hate Dak so much? Why would you want his career to go fail?
I'm just saying. I'm saying it's time for them to change. They need They need new blood somewhere.
Okay, let's provide context.
Wait, how long does Harbaugh have at the Chargers?
To the end of his contract.
Till the end.
If he doesn't piss people off.
And how long does Herbert have? And that's another thing too, is, these quarterbacks get these huge contracts. Dak got a big one too, and we have not seen anything. You're not earning it yet. You're just not there.
Well, as far as Dak Prescott is concerned?
Excuse me, has he won a playoff game?
First of all,
has he won a playoff game?
First of all, what we're not going to do here is not shortchange Dak Prescott.
Listen, Dak is a good quarterback. I think he might be even better somewhere else, not with the Dallas Cowboys. But did he earn his contract? No, he did not. Because to me, you win playoff games, you get closer to the trophy, then you've earned your paycheck.
Okay, here's where Dak for me. Number one, my man was smart enough to call off a wedding because she wouldn't sign a prenup. Props to Dak Prescott just for that.
I'll give him that.
Number one.
I'll give him that.
Now, let's go to the field.
Okay, look.
So wait, you gonna say this man did not earn his money, but he's still a top 10 quarterback? And look at the progression of Dak Prescott. Okay, film study has gotten better. Footwork got better for me.
Film study, you're gonna give him money for film study?
Yes, because here's the thing. His footwork dramatically increased from the time he got drafted from Mississippi State into his 4th year with the Cowboys. Now, the thing about it is, did he have solid pieces? We talked about Justin Herbert earlier, but he didn't have always the consistent solid pieces.
It's true.
Now he does. And even the last 2 years, we both
Thank God he does now.
We both credited the Dallas Cowboys for drafting for need instead of name. And they drafted extremely well. So I'm looking forward to seeing what the last 2 draft picks are going to develop into. They got arguably one of the best in Caleb Downs.
Okay, you made a point about Justin Herbert. This is it. This is the year. How many more does Dak have?
I think you have to give Dak another year.
Okay.
I think after this
One
year.
more.
But remember, my theory was always, hey, at the end of this season, if Matthew Stafford gets to the Super Bowl and he decides to retire, you call Dak Prescott.
He's got his own theory about that.
Dak Prescott under Sean McVay's system? Oh my God, that's a cheat code. Stop.
Well, who are the Cowboys going to get?
You don't care, so why should I?
I do.
No, you don't.
Yeah.
Okay, so you get rid of Dak, who they getting?
I don't know.
Exactly.
We got to find somebody.
Exactly. You gotta search high and low.
All right, so the NFL schedule is coming out tomorrow. So by the time this airs, you will already know everything. We know a few games. We know the Rams are going to Australia. And I think we need to ask some of the Rams, what are they going to binge watch on a 15-hour flight? You got any suggestions? Because it's a long flight.
There's a few Netflix shows I can highlight.
We're going to have to talk to them about that.
Yeah, there's a few Netflix shows, a few shows on Hulu, there's a few shows on Amazon Prime.
And they've got
Prime Video.
Also, we did hear that the Eagles are going to Dallas for Thanksgiving, so that could be.
Oh, that's going to be fun.
That will be interesting. Yeah.
And then the Cowboys open up against the Giants at MetLife.
Exactly.
That's going to be fun too.
And then there's going to be a lot of international games here. Let's see. Baltimore and the Cowboys, and
where
they are going to Rio.
Y'all better lock the Cowboys up. Don't let them run around Rio loose now.
Yeah, Rio is going to be quite. The Steelers and the Saints are going to Paris. I might be available for that trip. Actually, that's amazing.
That'll be interesting.
Wouldn't that be interesting? That might be worth the plane ride.
Ooh.
It's going to be very interesting. They're going to Munich. That's going to be Patriots and Lions. So. A lot of excitement in the NFL. There always is. I mean, they want to grow the game, and they do a great job.
And I'm looking forward to the Buffalo Bills opening up their brand new stadium.
That's going to be exciting.
That's week 2. And then also Rams at Seattle, the rematch.
Yeah,
If you remember next Friday when Debo finally caught up with Craig and his dad, this is the rematch. This is what the Seahawks are looking at the Rams.
That's what the Rams fans want. That's for sure. Absolutely. Okay, we're going to talk much, much more football, but we're going to take a very quick break and be right back. And then we're going to talk a little bit of baseball, so don't go anywhere. You're watching Playing the Field.
There are over 60 million people that have an injury or disability.
That's 1 in 4 of us. And if it happened to you, would you want people to treat you differently?
It's time that everyone has a chance to get in the game.
After all, the field's big enough for all of us.
So take your spot on the field because it's
Game on.
Easter Seals leads the way in disability services. We want to change the way you see disability. All right, Nick, it is baseball season. It's in full swing. I have a couple questions for you, though.
Fire away.
Okay, Dodgers in first place. Angels not in first place. Now, here's the thing about the Dodger fans. Dodgers, back-to-back world champions, right? They're struggling a little as of late, but it's May. And Dodger fans, I've told you this before, calm down. It's not the end of the world. Mookie's just back. I mean, you know what? It's just like juggling baseballs. You just have to keep going. Angel fans, I'm a little more concerned. Let's just put it like that. Yeah, well, somebody asked Dave Roberts yesterday if he should be pressing the urgency button because Shohei Ohtani is, I know, I was just like, okay, listen, you got to relax. I mean, really relax. He's giving Shohei a day off from hitting, and you would have thought the world was ending. I'm like, this is ridiculous. Give the man a day off. It's okay. He will find himself. I mean, I just think it's crazy that everybody wants this to be this panic button at the Dodgers.
I need to come back to the Dodgers.
Yeah, I think you do.
When you're getting questions like that, my God. I mean, it's a slow news day.
I know, right? Now, with the Angels, I got to tell you, I feel bad for Angel fans. And just like every season, they start off great. First 2 weeks, you're in first place. And they've lost like the last 10 games. Well, and you also know that, of course, when they start to lose games massively, the Mike Trout conversation, Mike, ask for a trade. He doesn't want to be traded.
And not only that,
he doesn't.
Anybody that's still not an Angels fan after the disrespect that was displayed by Artie Moreno, saying that Angel fans don't care about winning, which I know better because I know some Angel fans personally.
Yes, they care about winning.
They want their team to win and be successful and create some sort of dynasty at some point. So you arguably have one of the greatest players in our generation in Mike Trout.
Right.
And he's one of the great ambassadors to this game because of how he interacts with fans, with kids.
We love Mike.
How he interacts with the media.
Yep.
How he conducts himself with his family, his business ventures. Everything points right for Mike Trout. But you also have an emerging star in Joe Adell.
I was going to say, he does have teammates also that are good, maybe great, but what do the Angels usually do? They trade them.
Now, listen. Trade Joe Adell to a contender because my concern is that they're going to waste his talent.
He doesn't want to trade Dak Prescott, but he wants to trade Joe Adell. Okay.
Yes, because you know why? You know why?
They're not going to pay him.
Scenarios.
They're not going to pay him.
Not only that, they're not going anywhere.
I know.
They're stuck in neutral.
I know.
And they're hustling backwards. This is why.
All right. Well, thank you all so much for tuning in today and listening to our takes and just, talking about football and baseball. And we're going to come back again and see what's going on in LA sports. Until then, Nick, thank you for coming on the show today. We appreciate it. I am Maria Serrao, and we'll see you next time on Playing the Field.